Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Cash Crafting Crew, your favorite finance YouTube channel. Today, the Chinese economy is exhausted. Have you ever wondered how China, a country with a largely agrarian economy just a few decades ago, has now become one of the world's largest economic powerhouses? Welcome to the enigma that is the Chinese economy, a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an economic behemoth. Let's take a trip back in time to the mid-20th century, when China was predominantly an agrarian society. The vast majority of its population were farmers tilling the soil, their lives dictated by the rhythm of the seasons. The Chinese economy at this time was largely powered by the sweat and toil of these hard-working farmers. But the Chinese economy faced significant challenges in these early years. The country had just emerged from a long and brutal civil war. Its infrastructure was in tatters, and the government's coffers were almost empty. In addition, China was largely isolated from the global economy, with few trading partners and little foreign investment. But even in these difficult circumstances, there were signs of the economic powerhouse that China was to become. The government launched a series of ambitious economic reforms aimed at transforming the country from a backward agrarian economy into a modern industrial one. These reforms were not without controversy, and they were often implemented in a heavy-handed and sometimes brutal manner. But they laid the groundwork for the economic miracle that was to come. The Chinese economy began to take off in the 1980s as the government opened up the country to foreign investment and allowed private enterprise to flourish. This period of economic liberalization, known as the Reform and Opening Up, marked a turning point in China's economic history. The economy began to grow at a rapid pace, and China started to emerge as a major player on the global economic stage. Fast forward to the present day, and China is now the world's second largest economy, with a GDP that is only surpassed by the United States. The transformation of the Chinese economy from a poor agrarian society to a global economic powerhouse is one of the most remarkable stories of the late 20th and early 21st centuries. The transformation of China's economy is indeed a tale of astonishing growth and development. This is the story we will be exploring in this series. Stay tuned as we unravel the enigma of the Chinese economy. The transformation of China's economy began with the economic reforms in the late 1970s. And the architect of this transformation? None other than Deng Xiaoping. This visionary leader realized that China needed to break away from the shackles of a centrally planned economy and move towards a more market-oriented one. Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms were revolutionary, to say the least. He introduced the open door policy, which encouraged foreign investments and international trade. The Chinese economy, once isolated from the rest of the world, was now open for business. But the genius of Deng Xiaoping's economic strategy was not just about opening up. It was also about controlled experimentation. He introduced the concept of special economic zones, or SEZs. These zones, located in the coastal areas of China, were given more economic freedom than the rest of the country. They became the testing grounds for new economic policies before they were implemented nationwide. SEZs were a game changer for the Chinese economy. They attracted foreign investors with their favorable tax policies and relaxed regulations. Multinational corporations set up their factories in these zones, bringing with them technology, jobs, and a competitive spirit that was previously missing in the Chinese economy. But the impact of SEZs went beyond just economic benefits. They were also social laboratories. They brought about significant changes in China's society and culture. The exposure to international businesses and foreign cultures led to a shift in mindset among the Chinese people. They began to embrace capitalist ideas and values, which played a crucial role in the transformation of the Chinese economy. In summary, Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms and the introduction of special economic zones marked a significant shift in China's economic trajectory. They moved China away from a centrally planned economy towards a more market-oriented one. They opened up China's economy to the world and initiated a period of rapid economic growth. These changes set the stage for a period of unprecedented economic growth. The dragon was awake, its eyes firmly set on the future, ready to soar to new economic heights. The Chinese economy took off like a rocket, growing at an astonishing pace. Picture this: It's the 1980s, and China is on the precipice of something big. The nation is shaking off its old economic model and welcoming in a new era of reform. This period of radical change unlocks a wave of exponential growth that catapults the country to economic prominence. In the blink of an eye, China's economy starts to expand at a pace that leaves even the most seasoned economists astounded. This growth isn't just impressive, it's unprecedented. We're talking double-digit annual GDP growth rates, the kind of figures that were once thought to be the stuff of economic fantasy. As the 1990s roll around, China's economy continues to surge forward. The nation is now not just growing, but evolving, its economic landscape transforming from a largely agricultural base to a more diversified mix of manufacturing and services. The turning point comes in 2001. China, after years of negotiations, finally enters the World Trade Organization. This is a game changer. It's like throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. China's entrance into the WTO not only validates its growing economic power, but it also opens up a world of opportunities. Suddenly, China has access to new markets, new trading partners, new avenues for growth. The country starts churning out goods at a staggering rate, becoming the world's factory. The Chinese dragon is not just awake, it's breathing fire. The impact of this growth is felt far and wide. China's economic success story lifts millions out of poverty, reshapes its cities, and redefines its place in the world. The country goes from being a minor player to a major force, its influence spreading across the globe. And then before we know it, we're in the early 21st century. China, once an economic underdog, is now a titan of industry, a powerhouse of production, a major player on the global economic stage. The country has not just grown, it has transformed, and its journey is far from over. By the early 21st century, China had become a major player on the global economic stage. Fast forward to today, China's economy stands as the second largest in the world. It's a remarkable feat considering the economic journey that China has traversed. But as with any success story, there are challenges and hurdles along the way. Let's peel back the layers and take a closer look at the current state of the Chinese economy. One of the most pressing issues is the so-called middle income trap. This happens when a country's growth plateaus after reaching a certain income level. For China, this could mean that its days of lightning-fast economic growth may be drawing to a close. The country is struggling to transition from a manufacturing-based economy to one that's driven by high-tech industries and services. It's a difficult balancing act, and the road to high-income status is fraught with uncertainty. But that's not the only challenge. China's population is aging, and it's happening at a much faster rate than most developed countries. By the year 2050, it's estimated that nearly a third of the population will be over 60 years old. This demographic shift could put a significant strain on the country's social security and healthcare systems. On top of that, the shrinking workforce could also drag down the country's potential economic growth. The environmental cost of China's rapid economic ascent is another issue. Air and water pollution, deforestation, and desertification are just some of the environmental crises that the country is grappling with. The government is making efforts to transition to a greener economy, but it's a monumental task that will take time, resources, and political will. And then there's the elephant in the room, the US-China trade war. It's a complex and multifaceted issue with far-reaching implications. The trade war has not only disrupted global supply chains, but has also added a layer of uncertainty to the global economic outlook. It has put pressure on China's growth and has forced the country to reassess its economic strategies. Despite these challenges, it's important to note that China's economy is still growing, albeit at a slower pace than before. The country is also making strides in areas such as technology and innovation, which could be key drivers of future growth. It's clear that China has the potential to become a high-income economy, but the path to get there is less certain. China's economic journey is far from over. The challenges it faces are significant, but they're not insurmountable. And let's not forget that China's economic decisions have ripple effects that reach far beyond its borders. So, what does all of this mean for the rest of the world? Well, that's a question for another scene. But one thing is clear. Despite the challenges, China continues to play a pivotal role in the global economy. What does the future hold for the Chinese economy? This question has been tossed around in many a boardroom, think tank, and academic institution, and today we're going to unpack it a bit. The Chinese government is not one to rest on its laurels. It has its eyes set on the future, with plans for economic restructuring that could change the landscape of the global economy. A major part of this plan is the shift towards a consumption-based economy. This is a significant departure from the export-led growth model that has been the backbone of the Chinese economic miracle. China is looking inward for its future growth. The nation's middle class, already larger than the entire population of the United States, is growing at an unprecedented pace. This burgeoning middle class, with its increasing purchasing power, is expected to drive domestic consumption, making China less reliant on exports. However, this transition is not without its challenges. From environmental concerns to social inequality, the path to a consumption-based economy is riddled with obstacles. The government's ability to navigate these issues will be critical in determining the future trajectory of the Chinese economy. Another significant component of the government's plan is the focus on innovation and technology. China is making strides in fields like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and biotechnology. Investing in these high-tech sectors not only helps the economy diversify, but also positions China as a global leader in innovation. Moreover, the Belt and Road Initiative, China's ambitious infrastructure plan, aims to bolster economic growth by connecting China to countries across Asia, Europe, and Africa. This could potentially create new markets for Chinese goods and services, further supporting the shift towards a consumption-based economy. Yet the future remains uncertain. The Chinese economy is at a crossroads, and the decisions made today will have far-reaching implications. Will the shift to a consumption-based economy be successful? Can the government effectively address the challenges that come with this transition? Only time will tell if these strategies will ensure the continued growth of the Chinese economy. The rise of China's economy has had far-reaching implications for the rest of the world. As the second-largest global economy, China's economic growth has reverberated across continents, influencing trade, investment, and technology sectors worldwide. Let's start with trade. China, once a closed-off nation, has blossomed into a global trading powerhouse. It's not just about cheap goods anymore. From electronics to machinery, China's manufacturing prowess has permeated global markets. In fact, it is the world's largest exporter of goods and the second-largest importer, connecting countries in a complex web of supply and demand. Now let's talk about investments. China's economic ascendance has led to an influx of capital around the world. Chinese companies have invested billions in industries such as real estate, technology, and infrastructure, particularly in developing nations. Through initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, China is reshaping the global investment landscape, fostering trade relationships and stimulating economic growth in partner countries. Finally, on to technology. China's tech sector has seen explosive growth over the last 2 decades. Home to some of the world's most innovative companies, China is at the forefront of advancements in areas like artificial intelligence, 5G technology, and e-commerce. This technological prowess has positioned China as a global tech leader, influencing international norms and standards in the digital space. But with great power comes great responsibility. China's economic trajectory has also raised concerns about issues such as intellectual property rights, cybersecurity, and fair trade practices. Navigating these challenges will be crucial for maintaining global economic stability and growth. So, what does all this mean? Simply put, the Chinese economy does not exist in isolation. Its growth, its challenges, its successes, and its failures all ripple out, touching every corner of the globe. As the world becomes more interconnected, the influence of the Chinese economy becomes increasingly significant. The trajectory of China's economy will undoubtedly continue to shape the global economic landscape. Whether we're ready or not, the dragon's rise is a global event, and its impact will be felt far and wide. The story of China's economic rise is one of the most remarkable in human history. This statement encapsulates the narrative we've unfolded today, a narrative that is as intricate as it is fascinating. From an agrarian society, China transformed into a global economic powerhouse. This metamorphosis was not a product of serendipity, but the result of deliberate economic strategies, policies, and relentless hard work. The dragon rose, and it rose like nothing we've seen before. Its exponential growth during the late 20th and early 21st centuries was phenomenal. setting records and leaving the world in awe. However, the current state of the Chinese economy paints a somewhat different picture. The momentum seems to have slowed, and the once unstoppable economic juggernaut appears to be showing signs of exhaustion. Growth rates have declined, the debt has surged, and the shadow of an aging population looms large. Yet, it would be premature to write an obituary for the Chinese economy. It's still the second largest economy in the world, and its middle class continues to expand, offering a massive market for goods and services. Looking at the future prospects, the path is fraught with challenges, but opportunities are also present. The Chinese government is pushing for a transition from an export-driven economy to one driven by domestic consumption. Additionally, they are betting big on technological innovation and green energy, sectors that could potentially reshape the economic landscape. China's economic story doesn't stop at its borders. Its impact on the global stage is significant. From being a major trading partner to a key player in global finance, China's economic decisions reverberate across the globe. In conclusion, the Chinese economy is at a crossroads. Its past has been extraordinary, its present is challenging, and its future is uncertain but filled with possibilities. As we continue to watch this economic giant, one thing is clear. The story of China's economy is far from over. It is a story that will continue to evolve, continue to surprise, and continue to shape the world economy. We hope you liked the video. If so, it would help us a lot if you left us a comment, since the YouTube neural network values this very much and thus recommends our videos to more people. Give it a like and activate the bell so that you receive a notification when we upload our next video. So see you in soon. Greetings.